Hi, I'm Mark Osborne. I'm here at Legal Tech 2014. I'm with Susan Slisz, Vice President of Print and Digital Solutions at LexisNexis, and we're here to talk a little bit about eBooks. Thanks for coming, Susan.
Thanks, Mark.
So as we look around Legal Tech this year, we might see some things about eBooks and e-lending technology. Now that it is 2014, are lawyers and legal professionals embracing eBooks? Is that a trend we see?
Absolutely. Over the past couple of years since we introduced eBooks, we've seen more and more users start to adopt and use legal eBooks. We hear from our attorneys every day that this is becoming a more important way for them to do their legal research.
Interesting. Thinking about going forward over time, is it possible that eBooks might someday supplant print volumes as the primary way that legal professionals read and find out about things from print materials?
Well, first let me say there are a lot of lawyers who still love their print books, and I don't really see that changing immediately. We do know that over time, eBooks will become a more and more prevalent way to do and conduct legal research. As eBooks evolve, the demand for them increases.
Okay, so we may see over time, just on the value of these eBooks, that they just become more and more prevalent.
Absolutely, because initially we took a copy of the ebook and we took and it basically mirrored the print. And our lawyers then told us, well, that's not enough. We need to be able to link to Lexis Advance. We want to make sure that the case is the most valid case that it can be, and they want to make sure that they're relying on good law. So we connected all of our cases and primary materials to Lexis Advance. It's very seamless for users to link straight into Lexis Advance and check that. And that's really only the beginning, Mark. We know that eBooks will continue to evolve, and we will continue to add functionality, essentially going beyond the book.
I see. Okay, so as great as print titles are, traditional print titles are, an ebook offers a lot more utility, a lot more interactivity, interaction.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Okay. Well, that speaks maybe to some of the benefits of ebooks for the legal professional. Can you talk a little bit more about what those might be? I mean, more specific.
I think first it's important to understand that ebooks are portable. I have them with me 24/7. I can have a whole library in my pocket, literally, and I can take that wherever I need to have it. So it's really about having access to that information anywhere. It's about being over the weekend, needing to access that, and you can absolutely do it. So I think there's a mobility component that's really important. I mentioned the connectedness, connecting the content and making sure that your research can be an integrated solution. I think that's really a benefit to users. But then, finally, it's easier in many respects and in some ways more cost effective, because ebooks come with already the filing inserted appropriately in the text. It's much easier and more cost efficient in terms of space, and of course it's easier to distribute the books to the attorneys that need them.
Okay, so there's a lot of utility. There's a lot of value in mobility, sharing, management of sharing ideas, managing titles, all that. Speaking of managing titles, ebooks are individual volumes. Law firms typically have libraries.
Right.
Can you talk a little bit about what we're now hearing about more and more, which is something called e-lending?
Yes, absolutely. And LexisNexis is the only legal publisher to offer a legal digital library. And the reason that we did that was that when we spoke with our customers, they said, we need a way to manage. It's not enough for individual attorneys to have and use an ebook. They need a way to manage them. And I need a way to manage my collection to make sure I'm getting the most benefit for the firm. It was important to be able to pull an electronic book off the shelf the same way you might go into a library and pull a book off the shelf there. And again, that was important because you need to be able to manage the collection. So it certainly, again, not only does it give that capability, but it also gives the administrator and the librarian a way to understand what's being used in their collection, so they can really maximize the value of their library.
It takes ebooks to a whole other level.
Absolutely,
really.
Absolutely. And we've seen that from the small end of the market in terms of individual users, people who just want a book to read. Ebooks are great. When we're talking about managing books for hundreds of attorneys, it's not as easy.
I see, that makes sense. So when we think about eBooks, e-lending technology, mobility, all those things, what do you think might be the biggest challenge for lawyers and legal professionals to move forward and embrace the use of those technologies over time? What do you think might be the...
It's hard for attorneys to give up the print books that they have come to rely on and come to love. Writing notes in the margin, really having this personalization is really, I think, the biggest area where we need to make sure we understand that that's still important in the market. Of course, eBooks now have the capability to take those notes and highlights, and you have new functionality, and that new functionality will, I think, eventually, become more compelling even to those who are very tied to their print publications.
That makes sense. Well, thanks for sharing a few thoughts on eBooks and e-lending at Legal Tech 2014.
Absolutely.
And that'll conclude our discussion.
Thank you so much, Mark.
Thanks.